I grew up idolizing my dad. He was a World War II veteran in the Navy. Then he went in the Army and spent another 20 years in the Army. And when I was growing up, there were shooting trophies all over the house. And mostly those were from his Army days, but I heard him tell stories about having a 1911 during the Navy when he was driving landing crafts in the Pacific. So I was always interested in it, and when I got into the gun business, the first gun I bought was a Colt Series 70-45 for his birthday in November of '76. And so I gave it to him in the hopes that we would start shooting together. I was only 16, or by then I was 17, so my mom had to come in and sign for it. But Dad owned his own business. He was open 7 days a week. He didn't take much time off. So we didn't really shoot much with it, but it became kind of a bond between us. In 1998, two of my sisters, convinced my dad to write his memoirs about his time in the Navy in World War II. But I noticed in there he had 2 or 3 stories about firearms. 2 stories about 1911 45s and one about a Springfield 03A3. I went and bought a 1903 A3 to have the gun that he talked about so much in his memoirs. And then there were 2 different stories about the 1911 45. When he was in Hawaii in Honolulu, they issued him and his crew 1911 45s while they were stationed there. About 2007, after I was working at LIPSEY'S, I went and looked at a gun collection, and I bought the exact setup of what he would have carried in World War II. And I offered it to him as a gift, and he said, "No, your gun that you bought me means more." That meant a lot to me that he wanted that, so I kept the other one in my collection, and I'm going to pass it on to my daughter. In 2016, both our houses flooded. We lost a lot of our pictures and memorabilia. The gun I gave him went underwater in the flood. We got it out. It had some pitting and surface rust. I got it re-blued. The wood grips that come with it from Colt were just ruined. They sat in the water for a couple days before it went down, and it was a couple days before we could get in the house to get it out. So I always liked ivory grips, but ivory grips are way too expensive for me. And one of our customers here at LIPSEY, Scott Collier of SK Grips, I found out he had some bison bone grips that looked like ivory, and I called him up and he said, "Yeah, do you like a lot of bark? What do you want on it?" I said, "You're the grip guy. You pick me out a pair that you think you'll like." I said, "I'll be happy. You're the expert. I'll go with you." These are the ones that have significant meaning to me because of the history of World War II and how the greatest generation came together to defeat evil. It's part of American culture. It's part of American manufacturing. You know, the art of building something that quality that many years ago, I've always been interested in that, and I collect antique guns to this day. It's a privilege for me to own these pieces of history, because that's what they are, history to me.